mentioned, 2012, Melbourne, Australia. We are here and honored. In fact, I have heard a ton about this guy. In fact, on the way here, one of my buddies was telling me about how awesome his product is. He's one of the founders of Daygame.com, pretty legendary dude. From England, we have Yad. What's up, my man?
Hey, mate.
We got some cool video and all that sort of stuff.
All right.
What's up, man?
Thank you so much
for
inviting
me.
Thank you. Thank you for that welcome. And yeah, I just generally feel welcomed here in Melbourne. It's absolutely amazing just being here. You know, just a simple boy from London, really. That's what I am. And you know, that's. I think I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about that. Actually, coming from my humble beginnings in London town, you know, not knowing anything about girls or just like having really, really bad social skills, you know, just generally. And I've got to say, this thing behind me, this title, Daygame, kind of changed everything for me. And I can't sort of emphasize that enough, because I'm just a completely different bloke, completely different man, because of my trials and tribulations and the hard graft that goes into you know, coming up in something like the activity of Daygame. So I'm just going to talk you through the essentials today. We've had a few speakers from Daygame.com actually like talking a lot about that, and I'm sure very good other speakers talking about Daygame. But what I'm going to concentrate on today is literally the toolkits, what you really need to get off the ground, and some real practical know-how, which I think is really, really like, you know, basically the essentials to start things off. And I'm going to show you a bit of footage as well, because when I was in just, you know, going around Melbourne yesterday, I just saw so many opportunities, and I thought I'd rather show, you know, me doing it in Melbourne for real, rather than bringing a video from London. And so, yeah, you know, you've got that to look forward to as well. A bit of actual footage from Daygame in Melbourne, so that'll be exciting. So let's just crack on. I'm not very good at this, to be honest, so I sound like, you know, I want to be school teacher, so forgive me for that. So, okay, the hard graft, I spoke a little bit about that, but what that essentially means is, like, I'm not going to sell something to you, I'm not going to fob you off on this. Daygame is hard. It's a lot harder than night game, because with night game, you get a lot of stimulus all around you. So you get all these like amazing bits of like things that trigger off certain emotions. So seeing girls in skirts, perhaps like just high on life a little bit because it's a Saturday night or a Friday night. They're going out, they're dressed up, and everyone's in a slightly, you know, more elevated mood, whether that be because of drinks or you're with your mates. And so there's a lot more stimulus involved in night game. With day game, it's a little bit of, it's real hard work, especially to begin with. There's a lot of pain to go through. You know, I was lucky. I came out of university, and I had this opportunity to sort of roam around the streets of London for like years to sort of hone my game. And it genuinely did take years. So I'm going to get a bit philosophical now, but what happened was, what I noticed at first is I get these highs from day game, same as night game, but you get these highs when you first go out. So your first number close, that's a real high, okay? But essentially, like over time, those bits of highs don't really amount to anything in the first few days or in the first few weeks or in the first few months, okay? It's all about the long-term progress. You've got to enjoy the process of it all. It's really, really important to think about day game in a way where, you know, you're like, okay, I'm in this for the long run. This isn't going to be easy. You know, I know it's, you know, going to take a long time for me to fit into what, you know, the social aspects, or you going into just being able to talk to a girl might take a month or two. But for someone else, it might take a day or two. So, for different people, it'll take different times. But at the same time, everyone has their journey. But the long process over a year is when you can genuinely look back in Daygame and go, right, I genuinely have improved this side of my life, that side of my life, because it's a long-term activity. So as I said, Nightgame is very specific. It's a theatre. You can get good at acting in a certain role very quickly. But Daygame, it's much more inclusive in terms of life. It's all about life. It's all about you being a beautiful man generally. So, and it's a bit annoying because if I am not doing like good things today, if I'm not actually going out and putting my heart and soul into my life and improving myself today, guess what? That'll affect next week. Okay? If I've had a bad week, if I've just been messing around, slobbing around, not doing things that I feel, perhaps like for me, it's reading, it's going to the gym, I might not look like it, but I do every now and again. But when I do those things, I just get high on life. It's so good. I think hand on heart, everyone knows when they're doing something that is adding to their life, right? And when you're doing something that adds nothing to your life, if anything, it detracts, you're distracting yourself from, the right path, whatever that may be for you, and hand on heart, what that is. I don't have to go into it. But Steve was talking about porn. Like pornography, it's like an evil, evil thing. In terms of the fact that it just takes your energy away, and it's very much, it gives you a warped view of women, and it makes you angry, and I start thinking, very differently when I've been watching porn one day and when I haven't been watching porn one day. It's really weird. I'm much more high on life, when I'm doing beautiful, playing tennis and things like that, rather than genuine activities is what I'm talking about in life, rather than something as distracting as watching pornography. So, I hope you all get what I mean. I don't want to get too philosophical, but that's basically all summed up there. The last thing here, harsh yet fair results-based analysis. This is so important. I think especially related to Daygame, Nightgame, as I said, the results are perhaps a little bit more in your face. If you go out, you need a kiss closed, you need to drag a girl to a corner somewhere, do a bit of this, bit of that. But in Daygame, the result, because it's so much fun and it's a bit addictive and it's like this amazing social activity, when something gives you such a high, like I said, getting your first number or, doing things perhaps like, never speaking to a girl for like a few years who isn't in your social circle, and then all of a sudden you've spoken to 10 in one day, that gives you a certain high. Now, what I mean by that is, yeah, that's cool, that's amazing, but in the long term, what you really want to do is look back, maybe in 3 months' time, and go, right, did I get laid with the sort of girls I want in my life? You still have to do that, because you can't lose track of the fact that Daygame is fun. And a lot of Daygamers, especially in London, unfortunately, they're just satisfied with going around and having a good time and just like joking around with women, and that's great for your state, that's an amazing thing to do with your social muscles, because you're all building up your social muscles. But are you getting results? It's like a business, right? Sure, you've got a leeway period, every business has, to sort of like adjust yourself and end up on your feet first. But once you do, you've got to then harshly look at your results. Right? You've got to say, and to this day, I have the tendency to not do this. So I've got to harshly remind myself all the time, right, I went out today, fair enough, it was amazing, it was fun, it's good bits of chat here and there, but have I got the intention?